Hello and welcome to another update video about Terra Luna. Well, that is obviously in the focus at the moment due to what's happening with UST, and we can only hope that the Terra Luna team is going to sort it out. I am generally an optimist, an optimistic person. I can't see the whole ecosystem collapse. I personally can't see it, but everybody who's currently invested and investing in Terra Luna should be aware that this could end quite badly in the worst case if people lose trust. Obviously, there is already an element of trust loss, but if people lose trust on a sustainable basis, or going forward, then this can obviously hurt Terra Luna going forward, and the sentiment could shift quite a little bit to the downside. To say it, like that. So this is something that everybody needs to be aware who's thinking about investing in Terra Luna, who is already invested. This is something that obviously cannot be forecasted. If you have an event like that, it is a bit like, Bitcoin would get hacked or something like that. Things you can just not forecast, Obviously, this is part of any risk management, and anybody who is invested in any cryptocurrency needs to be aware that it is still a risky business. Everything is still very new. Things can happen we don't know about, things can happen we can't plan for, and therefore my strategy is to spread out the risk and to diversify into different cryptocurrencies. I always get emails and messages about what is the best crypto, what is my favorite crypto. That is very hard to say, and also my strategy is, or my answer is often always, diversification is key. Because it could be that I put all my eggs into Cardano, but then Cardano, whatever, the blockchain fails, something could happen, and then I've got all my eggs in one basket, and that is just not clever investing, So I always try to diversify, and then something that happened here with Terra Luna would be less of a disaster, but nothing that, from a price point of view, I already showed you this blue target area anyway, as an alternative, should we not find support in the green area. And I think my view is, if we hadn't had that issue with the UST, Terra Luna's stablecoin, had we not had that issue with the stablecoin, we probably would have really turned around here in the green area, which I already talked about back in March. So we called here the price increase. I called the correction, but in the end the correction was stronger than expected due to the news about the UST. Obviously, news like that can be a catalyst and push a chart from one scenario into another. And already yesterday I told you that I think that this was the last straw that Terra Luna had here, the $43 level, to get back into the original primary scenario. Now, I already told you here that we didn't see any bullishness in the chart, and that I would expect that the $43 level breaks as well. And when that breaks, that we have to talk about the other alternative target range, which is ranging between $33 and the $11.70 level. So this is now the new area. That one here is invalidated. I have to say it very clearly. In the next day or two, I will completely have to rework this chart, because this was geared towards this being the primary scenario, and that looked very likely, and to be honest, the price adhered to it perfectly. But obviously that event triggered the sell-off and pushed Terra Luna into the alternative scenario. Now, from an Elliott wave point of view, this is not possible anymore, because it was based on the assumption that a wave 1 was starting down here, and that this was the wave 1. It was a nice impulse. We came down in a 3-wave move, correction ABC. Unfortunately, that ABC correction went lower than the beginning of the wave 1. So this wave 2 went below the wave 1, which in such a scenario is not possible. And I haven't had the time to really redo the whole chart. But what I can tell you, that the new target area here has been reached. This was the alternative. And even if we have disaster moments, disaster events, a war starting, UST playing around or whatever, the charts still adhered to technical analysis. So it's not like, because often I hear it that all right, we had a war starting or something. In times like these, charts don't adhere to technical analysis, and that is, in my opinion, wrong, because typically you have two scenarios anyway on the chart. You have a primary one, and when that gets invalidated, you activate your alternative scenario so that you know, all right, my first one has been invalidated. What is a new reality that I have to adjust with, or adjust to, with my trading management and my risk management and my trade setups and everything. So there are usually two scenarios anyway, and usually when one gets broken, you can see it here, we now triggered the alternative scenario and we have reached that target area already. We reached the middle of it. We still have in that scenario also space to go down all the way until $11.74. Unfortunately, that's just how it is, but I currently have no fear or concern that Terra Luna could die. I think in fact it could be, if they get it sorted, it could be one of the cryptos that goes up most in the next move up. But that is speculation at the moment, because it just has been selling off that much. I remember everybody who said like Terra Luna can never go down to these levels. I know that was actually before Terra Luna, and many people who've been with me for a long time will know that. Everybody who's been with me for a long time knows that I recently changed my wave count to this being the primary scenario, and that was based on Terra Luna creating an impulse here. Yeah, and it looked really bullish. So we have to adjust to new developments in the chart. But my original scenario was always that we get down into this area. Now, this has now been reactivated. Not saying that I predicted the Terra Luna stablecoin issues, but nevertheless, what I want to communicate here is that charts still adhere to technical analysis, even if in moments of disaster, because people worldwide still use it. And levels, even if there is an a very unlikely major sell-off, you will still come down to certain Fibonacci levels. You will still come down into certain areas that play a role and that historically have played a role. So, because there will always be people who jump in and try to speculate to make money. So they will look at these price levels, and these are typically levels when the sentiment shifts again and people get bullish again and so on. So there are always alternative scenarios anyway, and that is just what I want to communicate. You still have support and resistance, even if there are moments of, disastrous moments and events. And to be fair, I can't recall a time when in the world there hasn't been any disaster. There's always been kind of a swine flu, a bird flu, a COVID. There have always been wars. So you can't say that in these times it doesn't work. There's always been inflation. There have always been times of crazy inflation. And, in the end, and that is the good news, the markets have always recovered. Okay? And they have always made new all-time highs. And therefore corrections are typically always opportunities. Now, of course, anybody who's now jumping in needs to be aware that there is no certainty that the Luna Foundation will sort the issue out. Yeah, it is just high risk at the moment. But also, on the other hand, everybody who understands the risk, it is also an opportunity. Yeah. So yeah, from here, I think we still have space. We're currently obviously working in this new target area here. Currently, it is very uncertain, but my view is as well here, Terra Luna, the low isn't in yet. It can even go a little bit lower, in line with what I expect for Bitcoin as well. Now that we have come into this area, naturally, we have come down to $24. We were massively oversold, so you have seen a correction all the way up to $40. But 43 is here the key level that we probably can retest. But I would expect another move down, and we could certainly go to the $24 level again, or even lower, all the way down to $11, $12. And if we take a look at the indicators, Terra Luna still oversold, but the MACD hasn't turned around yet on the daily. So downward momentum still there. And to be honest, officially, that downtrend isn't over until we break, here on the daily, until we break above $88. It is as it is, because a downtrend is at play until you make a new swing high. And the last swing high, due to the impulsiveness of that sell-off, is unfortunately $88. So you need to make more than a 2x from here, and the downtrend to invalidate the downtrend. Now, if we go to the 4-hour chart, it looks a bit different. On the 4-hour, you can talk about a breaking of the downtrend back into an uptrend above $67, but it shows you that a lot needs to happen for Terra Luna to get back into an uptrend now. Yeah. On the 1 hour, again, it will look completely different, because you will here have other swing lows. Yeah, here a very important level will be this $40 level, for example. That is certainly a swing high. Here's another swing high, which is $37. So first of all, to unlock potentially higher prices, we need to move above $37, then 40, then 43. So this is what I see here. I think we still see lower prices. We have not yet seen major reaction. Yes, down here is now a moment when we triggered the target area. Here we can see, as expected, in the target area, after we broke that, we can then see a reaction. That is what you expect, but we are currently fighting with that resistance level of that blue target area. So at the moment, I think we need to all be a bit careful with Terra Luna. My primary expectation is also what I expect for Bitcoin, that we are going to go once more lower. Also because on the daily time frame, for example, we do not see yet a turnaround to the upside. But as soon as you can see this, and we might see a bullish divergence, we might see the daily MACD turnaround, then things can change. But we also need to break first above these resistance levels that I have just mentioned. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. I will keep you awake. I will keep you updated about Terra Luna next few days. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.